In this example, we need to find the exponential function or the equation for an exponential function such that it passes through the points 2, 5 and 3, 5. So assume this is x1, y1 and this is x2, y2. Right? So when x is equal to y equal 5, when x equal 3, y equals 7. So by definition, the equation of an exponential function is y equal a times b to the x, where a and b are just real numbers. A and b are real numbers. Of course, b has to be strictly positive and a cannot be 0, b cannot be 1. So all we need to do now is just find a and b. If we find a and b, we're done. Just plug them in and that would be the function. Every function has to have x and y. Alright, so now what do we do? What does it mean 2, 5 is a point on the curve? It means when x is equal to, y equal 5. So y will be equal 5 when x is 2. That's just what it means. So plug in 2 for x, plug in y for 5. Now, what does it mean? The point 37 is on the curve. Mean when x is 3, y is 7. When x is 3, y is 7. In other words, plug in 3 for x and plug in 7 for y. Now, to find a b or a, the only way, the easiest way, or the only way to find, we need to find b first. How do we find b? Let's call this equation 2 and this is equation 1. So all we do is we divide the left side. So this is what we divide. We divide 7 by 5. And this is supposed to be equal a b cubed over a b squared. Right? Now, what's the next? Now this, the good thing about this, we can simplify the a because we know a cannot be 0, so we can simplify that one. And b cubed over b squared is just a b. So now we just found out that b is equal 7 over 5, which is 1.4. So let's plug that in. Now we know that y is equal a. I know that b is 1.4 to the x. Now the only thing we need to find is a. If we find the a right here, we're done. How do we find the a? Just plug in any point. Let's plug the easiest one, 2, 5. So when x is 2, y is 5. Y is 5 when x is 2. This means that a is equal 5 over 1.4 squared. Use your calculator. If you do that, you're supposed to get 2.55. And now I'm done. Just plug in a back. So go back to this equation and plug in a in there. So y is equal a, which is 2.55 times 1.4 to the x. And this is the equation of the exponential function that passes through those 2 points. Now for example 2, it's the same question. We need to find the equation of the exponential function that crosses these 2 points. So we know when x is 0, y is 100. When x is 2, y is 300. The difference between this example and example 2 and example 1 is now here we have an x that's a 0. So this problem is a little bit easier than example 1. Why? Let's see why. So first, we start the same way. We know that the equation has this form, y equal a b to the x. Right? And all we need to do, again, find a and b. But this time we know a has to be 100. Why? Because that's y-intercept. When x is 0, y is 100. So this is y. This is always going to be a. But if you want to see y, it's easy. Just plug in x equals 0. See y. Well, we have to y is equal 100 when x is equal 0. So let's just plug them in. This means that 100 is equal a b to the 0. But b to the 0 is just 1. So this is a times 1. A times 1 is just a. So a is equal 100. Pretty easy. Now that we know a is equal 100, plug it back in. Y equal 100 b to the x. And all we need to do is find the b. How do we find the b? Use the second point right here. So don't use the first point, because every time you use the first point, the b is going to disappear. Because when you do b to the 0, it's going to give you 1, and it's going to go. So you always have to use the second point, where x is not 0. So let's plug it in. When y is 300, the x is 2. Now, b squared is equal to 300 over 100, which is 3. Therefore, b is equal to square root of 3, which is 1.73. Let's use more decimals, 205. And the final answer will be y equal a, which is 100. The b is 1.73205, everything to the x. And we're done with this example.